Hello everybody, this is the frame of reference training for the personality-oriented work report. Now, I'll provide a quick overview of what this frame of reference training will entail. First, I'll give you a rundown on the purpose of the ratings you'll be providing. This should help clarify why we need your judgments and why you were asked to provide us ratings. Next, I will explain the purpose of this frame of reference training. Then we will discuss the personality scales that HiMatch has to offer and what is unique about our personality assessment. Afterwards, we'll discuss the personality success relationship. Then I'll go over some examples on how to interpret the rating scales. This should be helpful to clarify how to interpret each response option correctly. Next, we'll discuss the self-serving bias and how it affects our ratings. Finally, I will give you some general takeaways from this PowerPoint to remember while rating. What are we doing today? We are building out a personality assessment to hire employees for your organization. This will help us determine which personality traits are most important when hiring. How are we doing this? We are gathering ratings from a group of 2 to 10 employees. Each employee will be trained and then rate the personality statements. Why do we need your ratings? We need your ratings to assess which personality traits are related to indicators of success at work. In other words, we need to determine what it takes to be successful in your organization. What is the outcome of your ratings? A customized personality assessment will be created directly for use within your organization. This assessment will be uniquely created for your organization. It will be unlike any other organization's personality assessment. Each personality assessment we build is fine-tuned to the organization. Why are you making the personality ratings? Each organization is unique in the requirements to perform well. Different organizations require a different set of traits to be successful. We need to find the perfect personality profile for your organization. You are the subject matter expert here. This means you were hand-selected as somebody who knows this organization well. As the subject matter expert, you can provide valuable insights regarding what it takes to be successful. So what's our role in this process? You order the cake and we bake it. The best metaphor I can think of is the customer-baker relationship. We know how to bake the cakes and have all of the ingredients, but we don't know what type of cake is best for you. We need you to explain what type of cake you are looking for, and we will provide you the best cake we can make. If you give us as much information as possible, we can tailor this assessment perfectly for your organization. What is the purpose of this training? The purpose of the frame of reference training is to align your ratings of the organization with that of the other employees rating your organization. It is important to align everyone's frame of reference regarding what is being rated in the form. What is the outcome of this frame of reference training? Frame of reference training improves the effectiveness of the ratings you provide. Previous research has shown that you need 9 untrained raters to get the scores of 4 trained raters. In other words, your trained ratings are over 2 times more accurate than a person's untrained ratings. Alright, let's talk a little bit about the personality scales that HiMatch has to offer. How many scales do we have? We have a total of 24 unique scales. Each scale measures an independent trait, meaning they do not overlap significantly with one another. All of these scales are independent, but some scales have a stronger relationship with each other than others. What do our scales measure? Our personality scales measure common workplace behaviors. Each personality item is situated directly in the workplace context. This ensures we measure the expression of traits in the workplace instead of irrelevant places like at home. Each personality trait is unique. Even if some of these scales are related to one another, we need independent ratings to assess how important each trait is for success in the organization. In other words, all traits measured need to be linked to an outcome. Let's discuss the personality success relationship. There can be different aspects of success. Some organizations prioritize very hierarchical cultures, such as the military. Other organizations prioritize innovation, such as Apple or Google. These differences require a different set of personality traits to fit in well within that culture. Here's an example item that can be found in the rating form. The question stem is taking charge. You have 4 response options to choose from. First, is taking charge counterproductive to success? In what organization might it be counterproductive for someone to take charge? In flat organizations, such as Google, taking charge can be counterproductive to success. Taking charge too often may lead someone to assume a leadership role rather than valuing the perspectives of the others around them. Second is unrelated to success. In what organizations might taking charge be unrelated to performance? A good example is innovative cultures. There is little need to take charge in an innovation-focused environment. Imagine an art studio. Each artist has their own project and work. In these organizations, it may not be important to take charge. As a note, it is okay to rate as unrelated to success. We don't need all personality-related behaviors to be associated with the organization. Number 3, useful and essential for success. If the behavioral statement is important, then you have two options to assess how useful it is. As a note, essential is more important than useful, but how do we differentiate the two? Useful is organization relevant. Useful ratings means this behavior helps you perform successfully, but it isn't needed to perform successfully. For example, in consulting firms, the role of the individual is usually job dependent. There might be some roles where it is necessary to take charge, and other roles where it's not all that important. In these situations, you can mark as useful. Essential is job critical. This means that you can't be successful without doing this. Let's consider the example of an organization comprised of firefighters. They need to be able to take charge in important situations to get people to safety. To reiterate, useful is helpful for someone in this position, but essential is needed to perform successfully in this position. Let's talk a little bit about how these scores will be used. Each rating is averaged across the number of raters for this organization. There can be anywhere between 2 to 10 raters. We will average each person's rating. Traits deemed counterproductive, useful, or essential will be included if the other raters agree. Your ratings, along with other raters, will determine which scales we use to hire and how much importance to give each scale in the hiring process. Scales that are deemed more important according to your ratings get more preference when choosing an applicant. Take your time on each rating. Since this is being used to hire applicants, you should take your time on each rating. We want to be sure to get this right the first time when selecting which scales are the most important for applicants. And the last subject of discussion is the self-serving bias. What is the self-serving bias? Raters are more likely to indicate their personality traits are essential for success, even if they aren't essential for success. Who does this affect? We are all susceptible to the self-serving bias. It's okay to be susceptible to the self-serving bias. Now we are aware of it, we can be wary of its effects when considering our ratings. The self-serving bias is one of the biggest issues with obtaining accurate ratings of success. We want to hire successful employees, not those who are most similar to us. How do we address the self-serving bias? First, we can think about how the behavioral statement is related to success for anyone in this organization. Don't use yourself as the sole focus on what it takes to be successful. Try to be objective in your assessment regarding the tasks required within your organization and which behaviors are relevant. Do not focus solely on what makes you or someone you observe successful. The takeaway here is link the behavioral statements directly to what is important within your organization. There are three main takeaways to help you be a successful rater. Number 1, consider the various types of tasks that are required within your organization. There are different dimensions that are important for success in your organization. Consider what those dimensions are. Number 2, consider each option when you rate the behavioral statement. Remember the examples we discussed when choosing whether the statement is counterproductive, unrelated, useful, or essential for success. Number 3, avoid the self-serving bias. Remember, focus on what would make anybody successful in this organization. It is easy to look at yourself and determine what you do right. Instead, think about how anyone in this organization could perform well when considering each statement.